Tonight, I want to talk about how Sadiq Khan is turning London into a no-go area for white people by creating an ethnic cleansing campaign. I go through that campaign, the details of it, and how a series of low-level things are starting to change the population in London to a group that is loyal to Sadiq Khan, and also a new population. I will always say that Sadiq Khan doesn't hate London and doesn't hate Britain, but he loves London for the same reason that perhaps the American settlers liked the United States of America, simply because they believed that it was a virgin territory where nothing happened before and where they could create a new country, something that we think is rather old-fashioned now, but is something that's happening in Britain today. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, but more importantly, hit the bell notification icon. It's the best way to absolutely guarantee you get all my videos as soon as they're released. Also, please donate to Patriot Fund. We're going to have our monthly report in the next couple of days. If you don't donate, we can't get you on the mailing list for the monthly report. The link is in the description. Loads of good stuff going on. Okay, so first of all, people don't say that Sadiq Khan's racist. I disagree with that. I think he's somebody who believes that Britain has no value other than multicultural Britain that he is building, that effectively the culture that took place before the Windrush really wasn't culture at all and really didn't have any significance and should have no value. And I think the way you see this is what he's created, which I would describe as the hostile environment for white people and Christians in London. So first and foremost, Christian preachers are abused and stopped in a way that Islamic preachers are not. That's not because he favours Islam. That's just because he believes that new migrants are more valuable than those people who existed before, and so he encourages the police to attack those people, the Christians. Also, the next thing, in police recruitment, the racism that we've seen in Yorkshire also exists in London, whereby whites need not apply, is not 100%, but certainly the idea that a police officer who looks and sounds like you should be attending your incident is no longer a principle that is valued. It's something that fundamentally they want to stop. Next, Sadiq Khan supported opposed migrant barges and wanted unlimited immigration to London. The reason for that is very, very simple. Because he wants to see housing prioritised to the new population. Now, remember what my friend said, who's Eastern European. How do you ethnically cleanse a group of people? You take them off the TV and replace them with the new people, check. You ensure that housing goes to new people, check. You ensure that university scholarships go to new people, check. You ensure that government jobs go to new people, check. And you ensure that statues are pulled down and history is traduced, and in schools you start to teach that the history of the existing people was wrong, and that sort of, if you like, doesn't force people to leave, but encourages them to leave. And you see a lot of that in London, certainly with this commission on statues, where the idea is that any statue of any white person will be up for review. And of course, one of the most important statue issues of them all was the issue of the fourth plinth in Trafalgar Square, which was that we were going to have Queen Elizabeth II there. That's why there were all those temporary ones, you know, like the ice cream and all that. They were all put there because Queen Elizabeth II was going to be on the fourth plinth. Sadiq Khan claims that that wasn't the plan. Well, of course it was, and it was something that that he deliberately got rid of because, of course, not because he hated Queen Elizabeth II, but because she's an icon of the white community, an icon of Britain. So you can't have that sort of person looking in that place. Also, you know what I said about the universities? The way that now there are more scholarships, the way that rail companies have these racist policies in order to ensure that black people get all the jobs over and above white people. There's no issue, by the way, of anyone saying, well, there's an overrepresentation of Asian people in taxi driving or football teams. No, it's only the case when it's white people that issue takes place. And of course, people, because of the housing situation, are forced further and further out of the city. Look, this is a deliberate strategy. And also remember, when Sadiq Khan supported Babar Ahmed. Now, most people don't understand the Babar Ahmed story, but let's just be clear on this. Babar Ahmed was arrested for being the godfather of Al-Qaeda fundraising on the internet. Now, there was a bone of contention. Tony Blair brought in this law where the Americans can extradite to the United States of America even without any evidence, and we can't do the same with them. They said they'd allow us to do it, but of course that was never going to pass. So, okay, I get that Babar Ahmed should have been prosecuted in the UK, though, of course, as you know, we're soft on terrorism in the UK. But okay, Sadiq Khan said that he was Babar Ahmed's best friend in the first iteration of his website. Then he said he was his cousin. Then he said he knew him from school. Then he said he'd met him occasionally. And then he said he didn't really know him at all. Also, Sadiq Khan said that he visited him in Belmarsh, but only when he was an MP. That's not true. He visited him before he was an MP. And of course, let's be honest, I think we all know, the bugging by MI5 of Babar Ahmed's conversation with Sadiq Khan, they weren't bugging Babar Ahmed. They were bugging Sadiq. Because the question remains, why is Sadiq Hezbollah Tahrir's lawyer, that crazy terrorist group? Some people, former member of Hezbollah Tahrir, says that he was a member of it. Hard to know when they're telling the truth, and also some of these people are malicious. But the point still remains. You know, I've always said that there are people in politics who want to bring people together, and that's the majority of people. They're good, well-meaning people who sometimes get it wrong. Sadiq Khan is not like that. Sadiq Khan loves hatred and division. He loves pulling people apart. He loves ripping people down. He loves the othering of people. He loves an enemy, and white people are his enemy. Now, you can be as nice as you want to Sadiq Khan. You can vote for him. You can like him. But you will be his enemy simply because that's the way he operates. That's the way his mind works. He wanted a fight with the people of Bromley. He hates white people. Not because they're white, not even because he's racist, just because he sees them as the other group that he needs rid of. And pushing them out is an absolute priority for him and his government. And I believe that's something that really is shameful. It's something that we should oppose. Now, look, there are elections at the moment, not admittedly in London, but you know, we need, if you are able to vote, to talk to people and get people elected who are going to be decent and honourable and honest. This man, the hatred that he brings in, I mean, I'll give you another example, by the way, on the ethnic cleansing. It was Ramadan at the same time as it was Lent, and the lights on Oxford Street, paid for by Sadiq Khan, were for Ramadan, not Lent. No, I'm sorry. This is a Christian country. And he said, no, you've had your ceremony, which is Christmas. Ramadan and Eid is ours. I'm very sorry if Diwali, Hanukkah, Eid, any of these clash with Christmas or Easter, then I'm afraid Christmas and Easter have to take priority in this country. But when you walk down the shops on Oxford Street, when it's, you know, for Easter, and you see the Ramadan lights up, and you see the Eid stuff up next to shops that are selling stuff for Easter, you see police officers who are out to catch you if you tweet wrong, or, you know, they don't look like you, they don't sound like you, and you see that, you know, the accommodations all going to the new migrants. You see that Sadiq's policy would put 50,000 Londoners out on the street because of his support for uncontrolled immigration. You see all these things and you ask yourself, why is it happening? And the answer is very simple. The message is leave. That is the message in London. And it is a sad thing that ethnic cleansing exists in the United Kingdom right now. But it does. The message is you're not welcome here, and the new people will take priority. I think that's very sad. I mean, when we talk about the EastEnders, you know, there's no EastEnders anymore. When I think about the East End, I think about Bangladeshis. Nothing wrong with Bangladeshis. In fact, I'm good mates with a load of them. But fundamentally, they have eradicated the ordinary Cockney, you know, the old Cockney, those guys have all gone. That is a very sad thing, and something that I think we need to oppose. So that was my praising of the things that Sadiq Khan's doing as low-level ethnic cleansing. Please do comment. Please do donate to the Patreon Fund. We're going to try and stop it. Until next time, goodbye.